What's up, my peeps? Today I want to talk about identity politics. Okay, and with identity politics, you have a whole bunch of people that can't stand that shit. Like they don't want to talk about no identity politics. They feel like it's a conversation that will divide us. We also have people that think that this is a conversation that needs to be had, and identity politics is very necessary to them because they feel like certain things need to be addressed with certain groups, and certain groups are not getting rights that they deserve. Okay, I'm one of those people that feel like identity politics is necessary, but I also think that there are things that we can do to help everyone to eliminate these conversations that we're having, under the lens of identity politics. Okay, a lot of these identity politic discussions, these political discussions we have when it comes to a certain group, we wouldn't even have to have these conversations if we had access and was giving rights to certain things in this country. Okay, and one example I'll start with is jobs. Okay, why do we have a unemployment rate being divided amongst races and women and men? Like, is that really necessary? The only reason why I'm seeing this being necessary is because when it comes to poor neighborhoods, okay, a lot of jobs are not there. And if there are jobs in a certain poor neighborhood, they're very low wage jobs, okay? So if you could put manufacturing jobs back in these poor neighborhoods, I stay in a factory town right now. I've said this in several videos. You can throw a stick and hit a fucking job here that's gonna pay you, pretty decent. All right. Now that's two things that I'm tying into too. Okay. If there were jobs and if we had better wages, okay, better wages and jobs in poor neighborhoods would eliminate a lot of this conversation. Okay. When you go to a poor neighborhood, I'm telling you, you're not going to see much of nothing around there, all right? Just a bunch of people hanging out, trying to figure out how the fuck they're going to make it through the day, what they going to eat today, how they going to get it, and crime usually is the way that they get it, all right? Now, when you have statistics with certain categories and races and genders and shit like that, which is identity politics, okay? When you bring jobs back and you bring wages, when you raise wages or have high wage paying jobs in those neighborhoods, a lot of people will be working first and foremost, okay? And it will be no need to look at a sheet with that statistic. It will be like, why the fuck do I want to know how the black unemployment rate looks versus a white unemployment rate when majority of us are fucking working? We're all pretty much working. Then, if you have a situation where a lot of people are working and a few people are not working, okay, that small group of people, that's when I think that identity politics would matter the most, okay? To me, I think identity politics is something that's necessary, okay? But it could be on a smaller scale if we would do the jobs thing and the wages thing, because it'll be a small amount of people that's not working, and we have to figure out what's going on with those people. Are they not educated? Are they disabled? What's going on? And we'll figure out a way to get that going. But since the unemployment rate is so ridiculously high, people tend to group up because they have a large group to make a noise, all right? If it's just a small amount of people, that you're really not going to hear that pin drop in that large room, okay? What you're going to have is, like I said, a small amount of people and it's easier to deal with a situation like that when it's just a small amount of people. When it's a large amount of people, it's just too much chaos, all right? Now, when you have people earning a living wage and they're making good money and they have disposable income, okay, people tend to not be violent, all right, when they're making pretty decent money, because when you have something to lose, okay, you think differently, you move differently. A lot of people, they say aging mature us, and in some ways I agree with that. But I also think that situations force you to mature. When you have something to lose, it makes you grow up. It makes you think before you act, okay? Because if you do this, you might lose something. If you have kids and you like, if I go over there and punch that motherfucker that's over there talking that shit to me, if I go and stab that motherfucker that just cheated on me, okay? If you got kids, you thinking, but if I do that, I'll go to jail, and what's going to happen to my kids, okay? If you have, I don't have any kids, and let me tell you what keeps me from doing crazy. I still do stupid shit, okay? I'm human. But what keeps me from being a disaster, and it keeps me from thinking before I do something just extremely crazy, is that I could lose what I have. I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I have a car. I have a TV that's behind this phone I record. TV in the room. Like, I want to keep these things intact, okay? I want to have these things for me. So before I go and do something crazy, all right, I'm thinking, if I go and do this, I can lose it all. I don't have much, and I want to keep the little bit that I have, okay? So when you have that riding on you, when you have something to lose, all right, it kind of keeps you contained, which brings me to violence. That reduces violence. We won't be looking at crime on a certain level of black on black crime, white on white crime, white on black crime, black on white crime, and so on and so forth. If everybody is busy and everybody has something to lose, you will see a reduction in that, okay? And we will have that small percentage that we can work out. And like I say, it's easier to work something out when it's small. When you have a large group, and it's different groups, different large groups, okay? I mean, it's a problem. And it also leads to other philosophies. The reason why people hate identity politics, from what I see, is that when you're a person that feels like you're oppressed for whatever reason, your reasoning for being oppressed, it could be on a solid foundation. You can have something that's a credible argument. You have a credible argument for why you're oppressed. But while you're continuing to feel oppressed, then you start reaching for more fucking reasons, and your arguments get ridiculous. All right? You start blaming every fucking thing for the reason why you're oppressed. So when a person is listening to you explain why you feel like your group is oppressed, and you're reaching around for like in all these different angles explaining that this right here is why I'm oppressed, and this on TV right here, they put that on TV, that oppresses me. Okay, you start looking ridiculous, and then people are like, man, I don't want to fucking listen to this crybaby ass dude. Like, they don't want to hear that shit. If everybody has their own battle, everybody has their own struggle. So when you're talking to somebody and you're explaining the reason why you're oppressed, and they're going through something themselves, and it seems small to them, they like, motherfucker, grow up. Stop crying, stop blaming people, get up and do your own thing, and stop feeling like everybody is against you, because everybody is not against you, okay? That's what I'm seeing, what people are hating about identity politics, and it also can lead to violence, okay? We see that with protests when they start rioting and things like that. Soon as the riots break out, whatever group is there, you might as well say you are just the scum of the fucking country, okay? When soon as Black Lives Matter protests and a riot broke out, do away with them, people start hating them, okay? When they had the protests in Charlottesville, when the Unite the Right got together and you have all right members out there and somebody died, it's like, all right, you motherfuckers are crazy, do away with them. People are not going to be in your favor. People are not going to hear your arguments or your points, all right? But back to me, I feel like with Black Lives Matter, with Charlottesville, if everybody was giving equal opportunity, okay? I'm talking jobs, I'm talking wages, okay? I also think people should have access to a psychologist or a therapist, which kind of ties into our broken healthcare system, all right? And we can fix that. And if people had access to a professional to talk to about their problems, we wouldn't see a lot of mass shootings, okay? We wouldn't see a lot of people feeling so depressed and down about life, okay? And when people are miserable, they take other people down with them one way or another. Either they're gonna act out violently, or they're gonna have this depressing ass conversation with you and just make you feel sorry for them and shit like that, you know. And sometimes if you're a person that's willing to listen to what a person has to say and help them deal with them issues, that's the type of person I am, okay? But if you're that type of person, that's cool, but you know, you're busy sometimes. And like me, if you're that type of person that does that, you're not a professional. I'm not a professional. I can only give people so much advice, all right? And, you know, their parents can only give them so much advice. And some people are depressed, and what they're depressed about is embarrassing to them, so they don't want to talk to family members, parents, or sometimes they don't even want to talk to their best friends about certain things because they're embarrassed about it. So it's good to talk to somebody neutral. And if people had that access, like I said, I strongly believe that we wouldn't see so many mass shootings. We wouldn't see so many school shootings. We wouldn't see, I think that ties into unemployment too. A lot of people are not out here getting jobs and stuff because they're not confident, okay? When you're depressed, you're really not confident enough to go out, even to step foot out the door. Some people won't even leave the fucking house when they're depressed, okay? So, you know, I guess you can tie, you know, our broken healthcare system into that too. As you see, I do these videos on the fly. This shit is coming off the top of my head, okay? So we got, you know, fixing the healthcare system, wages, and jobs. I really believe, okay, that if all of that was taken care of, if this was a given, if this was a right, if you're born into this country and soon as you come out the fucking womb, you are gonna have equal opportunity, okay? I know to a lot of conservatives, when they hear that, they like, this motherfucker that went full liberal. And I try to be objective on here, but I'm talking about identity politics, and when I'm talking about identity politics, I'm sorry, the liberal side of me is gonna fucking shine bright like a diamond, okay? It's gonna come out, all right? But I really believe that if all of us had access to equal opportunity, a lot of discussions that we have about identity politics would be gone. We wouldn't be having these discussions, a lot of these discussions. There are certain things that I don't think that, you know, a job or access to good health care could stop. Some people are just hateful people. And this is where I beef with people who have a bad taste in their mouth about identity politics, okay? We know that racism exists. And some people just fucking hate another group. That's just the way it is, okay? I don't know what it is, but some people just can't stand fucking white people. Some people just can't stand fucking black people. Some people can't stand Hispanic. That's just the way it is. They can't stand whoever, all right? Now, I really believe that when you have people like that in this world, that's something deeply rooted, and I don't know how you can fix that. And I think that if that was a conversation, that the only conversation that we were having when it comes to identity politics, we would be straight. But identity politics is such a fucking mess right now because you got so many people feeling oppressed. And a lot of these people wouldn't feel oppressed if the systems that we had in place in this country were functioning better. The shit that we have in place right now, it's just not working. And it's causing a lot of confusion, and it's causing a lot of chaos in this country. And it has us pointing fingers at each other and have us hating each other. And it's broadening and making the conversation about identity politics get bigger and bigger and bigger. When I was a teenager, we had no discussion about genders. I don't remember having a discussion about genders. Okay, when I saw a transgender person, I really didn't think too much of it. You know, I saw him, I was like, okay, that's different, and kept it moving. I used to work at Johnny Rockets in Memphis when I was like 16, and I worked the milkshake machine, and sometimes I would cook. The milkshake machine was right next to the stove where the cook would be, and the cook was a transgender, okay, and we talked about sports and shit, all right, like we really didn't care about this stuff. And I think the reason why it carried on like that is because we both were working. We both were making money and we both had something to lose, okay? That transgender person probably had struggles, okay? I'm not saying that because I don't know what was going on in that, and I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to know. I don't know what was going on in her personal life. It was a man transforming into a woman. I hope I'm saying that right. And so I'm going to go with the identity that she chose. Okay, she chose to be a woman. I don't know what was going on in her personal life. She probably was having some struggles, all right? Who knows? But I know that in that work environment, when we went in and punched in, everybody in there respected each other, okay? I never seen anybody mistreat her when I was at work, or customers or anything like that. All right, in the neighborhood that Johnny Rockets was in, anybody knows if this is Johnny Rockets in your neighborhood, you probably stay in a good neighborhood, okay? And it was in a pretty good neighborhood where the Johnny Rockets was in. I didn't stay in the neighborhood. I had to fucking drive all the way from North Memphis to that spot to work at, to work there. And when you have a neighborhood that's everybody's working and everybody has high wages being made, everybody seems to be happy. There's no drama. That's why the crime rates are so low and stuff. Everybody has something to lose and yada, 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 like I just said, okay? So when they would come in there and they would see a transgender person, they may have took a double take. They may have stared a little bit, okay? But they never disrespected this person, okay? But when you have a mixed bag country, all right, and we have gotten to a point now where, you know, it's a big hot topic and it's lumped itself into the discussion with identity politics, okay? Now you're seeing a resistance, okay? Now you're seeing backlash, and it's easy for a person who is, you know, fucked up money-wise. They don't have a good job, you know. They probably have some things going on upstairs, so they're not seeing a therapist. The closest thing they have to therapy is a fucking comment section on, you know, whatever online site they choose to be on. You know, they're not eating right, all type of things. You know, they're just a person that's not having a good opportunity, all right? They don't have the opportunities that other people have. If they look at a video or read an article about a particular group that is suffering and they over there suffering themselves, they like, what the fuck ever. They either gonna sympathize with them or they like, what the fuck ever, I'm struggling too and you don't see me out here crying like you, okay? And they will be a person that's opposed to identity politics because they feel like, you know, I'm going through my battle and I'm trying to make it another way. I'm not trying to group up with somebody and bitch about it. So they have a resistance. But I believe that if those groups of people had that equal opportunity and that guy had that equal opportunity, that discussion is null and void. No discussion. There's no discussion, okay, about that. We will be discussing other things. We will find other things to cry about, as we always do as Americans. But I really do believe that our discussions will be very slim and it will be easy to work out because you're only dealing with a small group of people. Okay, I hope that made sense to y'all. You know, what I feel like would kill discussions on identity politics and why I do believe that identity politics is necessary, which is there are people that you just can't fix. Even with the things that I said will eliminate the conversation, there are some people who just don't fucking like you. They're out there, all right? So that's why identity politics is necessary, because if that group of people, if that person that hates a group of people, if a fucking Hispanic guy that hates Asians goes out and shoots a bunch of Asian people, and you like, why the fuck did this happen? Why did they go in this Asian neighborhood and go on a tear like that? Why did this guy do that? And then you dive into his records, like on his computer or something like that, and you see a whole bunch of hateful things memorized, or maybe they have a manifesto and they just saying that they can't stand Asian people. That's where identity politics is necessary, because we have to, lump this person in the group and find out, is there more people like him, so we can prevent this from happening again. Okay, that's where I think it's necessary. But as I said, healthcare, wages, jobs, if we can get those things intact, a lot of this will be eliminated. All right, get in the comment section. Tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You could get in there and expand my mind if you agree, if you have something to add on to what I was saying. And you guys have a good one. Peace.